I don't know about you guys, but not only do I love building electronic kits, I like watching people build electronic kits. This one here is a kit I built a couple of months ago from Radio Shack called the Super Stereo Ear. You can see it has two microphones here, op amp, some discrete components, battery holder on the back, volume control, and a headphone jack. And if you're wondering to yourself, can I build something like that? Yes, you can. It's not hard. I'm going to show you some simple keys to making good solder joints today in this video. But before I get started, let me first apologize for the growling noise you hear in the background. It's an electric heater going because the gas company is replacing all the gas lines in my town and decided to come and fix mine until it was broken. So, there's that. Now, the first key I'm going to tell you to making good soldering joints is you do not, I repeat, do not need an expensive soldering station. Now, they're nice to have. And if you've got the money, by all means, get yourself a nice Hakko or a Weller. But you can get by just as well with a cheap soldering iron like this one. This is from Radio Shack. It is a 15 or 30 watt. But I'll tell you something. The price I paid for this soldering iron, which was about $25 from Radio Shack, you can get yourself something even better. Up here on my bench shelf, you can see the Zenny 937D, the cheapest of Chinese soldering stations. At the time I bought it. Yes, I know there are cheaper ones out there. It comes with this standard Hakko handle and a selection of soldering bits and a nice little stand. Same price as the Radio Shack iron. When you get your new iron, the first thing you're going to want to do is tin the tip. Now, this is a new tip. It's one that came with the soldering iron. Trying to get it to focus here, I apologize. And it is somewhat tinned from the factory, but I'm going to tin it anyway. And the way I like to do it with the new tip is to get some thin 60-30 solder and wrap it. Oops. Oh, just pulled it right off. That's alright, we really don't need that much. Let's start again. We get some 60-30. And we're going to wrap it tightly around the tip. Something like this. Turn on the iron. And in about 30 seconds, that is going to melt. And we'll have our first coating of solder on the tip of the iron. So let's let that melt on here. Should be just about ready. There we go. You can see how that's nice and melty. Then I'm going to clean it off with a wet sponge and tin it again. Clean it off and tin it again. And you see how it takes that solder right away. Okay. Now we're ready to start talking about soldering things. When we're going to deal with electronic soldering, you're going to want some thin solder 032 is good. This is 062. That's way too big for electronics. Good for wires though, and that's where we're going to start out. Alright, I've got some 22 gauge solid core wire here, and let's say that we needed to splice them. What you see a lot of times, what a lot of people don't know what they're doing do, is this. Twisting them up like this. Yeah, and then soldering it and putting some shrink wrap over it or something like that. Well, yeah, that'll work. But it looks like a dog's ass. So don't do that. If we need to splice a couple pieces of wire, what we want to do is strip about 1 inch of insulation off of each piece. And do what's called a lineman's splice, also sometimes known as the Western Union splice. What you want to do is you want to cross your wires about 1/3 of the way, give them a twist, and then tightly as you can, you want to wrap each wire along the length of the opposite wire. And yeah, this works a lot better with a pair of pliers, that isn't digging into your thumb. So yeah, this isn't the best looking lineman splice, but it will definitely get the job done here. And now, when we pull it, the wires are nice and tight. I'm just going to clamp it in my third hand, which is nice to have, but not necessarily necessary. You can get by without one of these. And we're going to solder it. We're going to start out by cleaning the tip of our iron and then adding a little bit of solder to it. That helps with the heat transfer. And we are going to heat the wires, not the solder, and then the capillary action will pull the solder into the wires. So now we have a nice joint that is never going to come apart. Wow. We don't want to focus there, does it? Okay. And you can slip a piece of shrink wrap over that, and it will be nice and smooth. Alright, when we're building kits, or electronics in general, you're going to come across a lot of header pins that need to be soldered in to a board like this. You know, they slip in from the bottom. You solder them here on the top side, but they fall out. So how are you going to hold them in place? How are you going to keep them straight? Well, you can use a piece of tape or some putty or something. But what I have found the easiest way to do this is to get a little breadboard, put the long side of the pins into the breadboard. You know, fix this thing however you need to. Then you slip what you're going to be soldering on there. Now I'm just going to put in another set over here to kind of keep things in line. Okay, that's too high. That's all right. So we slip what we're going to solder here. And we're going to be using the thin solder. Let's zoom in here. Now I like to orient it vertically. Again, clean the tip of your iron, add a small amount of solder, and you're going to put the iron and touch both the pin and the pad at the same time. And then you're going to touch the solder to the other side, just like that. And now we're nice. But this is a little angled, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reheat this, hold it in place where I want it, let it cool. Now everything is held in place. And then what I like to do is just come down here like this. And you can see when the solder is going to flow correctly. You will get a complete coverage of that little circle, that pad. The solder will completely cover it, and what's helping it do that is the flux that's in there. The flux will clean off any oxidation on the solder, and it will help the solder flow. See how nice that looks? So we apply the iron first to the pad and the pin. We apply the solder to the opposite side. Once the solder flows, we remove the solder. Then we remove the iron. Just like this. And what we want to see when this is all over, see how well we can see this here, is a little concave mountain of solder. I know it's hard to see on this shiny stuff, but that's what we're getting. Alright, next up are components. Let's start with non-polarized components, like a resistor. Non-polarized means it doesn't matter the order in which we put it into the board, or the direction it's facing. So we bend the legs, fit it through the hole as neatly as we can. Then what I like to do is flip it over and bend the legs out. That will hold it in place so it doesn't move. And then we use the technique that we just talked about. So first we wipe off the iron. We add a small amount of solder to the tip. We touch the pad and the leg of the resistor at the same time. We add the solder until we see our little mountain form. Then we pull away the solder first. And then we pull away the iron. Once we got that far, you come back in with your nippers and you cut the pins nice and flush, and you have a nicely soldered resistor. Alright, next up, still sticking with the unpolarized components, is one of these ceramic capacitors. Same thing, we're just going to put it through the holes, press it down as low as we want it, flip it over, and spread the legs out. Wipe the iron, small amount of solder. Then we nip off the excess legs. And there is our capacitor soldered. Now these types of capacitors are unpolarized as well, so they just go into the hole the same way. However, when we get to electrolytic capacitors, the ones that look like little cans, they are polarized, which means they have a positive and a negative. And the negative is shown with a white stripe that has little minus signs. Also, the negative leg is usually shorter than the positive leg. So make sure that if you're going to solder one of these types of capacitors in place, that you put it in with the proper orientation. Now, here is my second key to good soldering. You need to have enough heat that you can come in here, heat up the leg and the pad, and be out in about 2 seconds. Heat is the enemy of our electronic components. So the quicker that you can get in and get out, the less chance there is of doing any damage. Okay? Next up, we have a transistor. Now the transistor has an emitter, a base, and a collector. So you want to make sure that you know where those pins are going. If you put it in the wrong way, it is definitely not going to work. And they are usually spaced too close for you to have any luck in getting them in the holes the way that you're wanting. So what I like to do is just give them a little bend so they look kind of like this. Then we can put it through our 3 holes. If my old eyes can see. And you want to get it in there as far down as you can without putting too much stress on the legs. And then, just like our other components, we bend the legs out to hold it in place. Wipe off our iron, add a little bit of solder. In and out. In about 2 seconds or less. Especially with integrated circuits like transistors, they are definitely susceptible to heat damage. So you might even want to solder one leg, do another component, and then come back and solder the third leg. That way you can keep things nice and neat. Okay, another polarized component that you're probably familiar with is an LED. The long leg is usually the positive, the short leg is the negative, and usually there is a flat spot. See that flat spot on the negative side. Now, I've had some trouble with some of the Chinese kits not wanting to take solder. I don't know if it's the plating material they've used on the board or what, but sometimes they just don't seem to want to take solder. And in that case, I'm going to show you my third key to making good solder joints. And here it is, flux. flux is your friend. Flux will help clean the oxidation from joints, and it will help the solder flow better. Now this is paste flux, and what I like to do is just get a little bit on the solder, coat the pads just a little bit, and then when we come in, the flux does its job. Everything gets nice and clean, and it really helps the solder flow. See how nice those look now? No problem at all. Nice, shiny, convex joints. Okay. Now, what happens when, oh shit, I've made a mistake? Well, with most components, it's relatively easy to get them out. You simply need to heat them up and give a little pull, perhaps a little wiggle, and sometimes just gravity on its own will do the job for you. So I'm just getting it hot, giving it a little wiggle, and boom, out falls our component. All right, but what generally happens now is you've got to put the component in correctly, and well, oh shit, my holes are clogged. How are we going to clean that out? Well, we are going to use desoldering braid. This shit is absolute magic. You put it on over this, you put the soldering iron on top of it. It will heat up the solder and pull it out of the hole. But here's your pro tip. First of all, add a little more solder. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but trust me. Add a little more solder. Next, if you don't have really good braid, like the Gutwick brand, if you just take your braid and dip it into some flux, trust me, this will make all the difference in the world. Now, do you see it sucking that solder right up out of there? Like it was nothing. Now your holes are clear, and you can put in your new components. So let's sum everything up here. The keys are having a cleaned, tinned iron, proper application of the solder, heat up the part, bring the solder to the iron in the part. Do not put the solder all over the tip of your iron and then try and apply it to the part. And flux. You can do it. Soldering is not a magic black art. It just takes a little practice, and some people even think it's fun. Well, I hope you liked this little video on how to help you learn to solder. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment and share. And don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time.